Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, I suppose. Listen, I don't live under a rock, and I exist in enough nerd spaces where certain bits of media are kind of just guaranteed to end up on your radar, and Jujutsu Kaisen is something I've been interested in for a good while now. It's one of those where, I knew it was super popular, and some names and terms are familiar to me, but I didn't have a huge idea of what was actually going on with it. But I was curious to see what all the fuss was about, and that's what today's review is. Me seeing what all the fuss is about with Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1 by Gigi Akutami, and the edition I have is translated by Stefan Koza. And can I be honest? I don't think it's for me. To be very clear, from the offset of this, because this is kind of going to be me moping. This isn't a bad book. This is not a review of me going, I hated this book and it was bad. I did enjoy it for the most part, but I just couldn't find myself getting hyped about stuff happening in the way that I did when I was starting new series in the past, say with Chainsaw Man or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I think part of my inability to get on with it is the fact that this appears to be for a teen reader, even if that is an older teen, because of the more sort of violent content. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy to read a range of books for all kind of demos, but sometimes it is more clear that I'm not the intended demo. And, I would have been when it first came out, so maybe it would have been different if I'd have started reading it then. Maybe I'd be more into it because I'd have been the target demo, and I feel like I might have been a bit more into it back then as well. And because I think this came out at first, I was checking the age range. I think it said mature teens, and it says it came out I think in either 2018 or 2019. So yeah, I would have been pretty prime demo for it, and I might have sunk a bit more time into it. And also maybe if I had have known that going in, which is something I should have probably checked, but I don't know, man. I see a lot of people talking about it and they're all adults. So but also adults read a lot of YA. That is a conversation for another time. If I don't understand how, past the age of 21, 22, you're consistently reading YA and nothing else. Not least of all because it's just I can't relate to any of these problems anymore. I'm not saying you always have to, but it's just teen drama nonsense. Even in YA books, they're usually 18 years old, and I'm man, I need to read about some grown-ass adults. Good lord. Back to Jujutsu Kaisen. The characters, fairly, they act and talk their age, and I think they're well written in that regard, but I found myself just not getting any kind of connection, I guess. I didn't feel like I had the sort of protective thing that I sometimes get. I'm not trying to insert myself in every story. That's not how you enjoy every book. But I think there's often a want to connect with characters, be that love, hate, somewhere in between. Were you there, you'd maybe want to be friends with them or something like that. And obviously that's not you don't have to insert yourself into everything. But even though with Chainsaw Man, I would not want to be in that situation. I grew a real connection with them because the characters are so vibrant and they're so just wonderful. But here's the thing, the most annoying thing is that the writing is good. The setup works, there's action, and the design stuff that I'll talk about in a little bit just worked so well, and the characters are vibrant. They are vibrant. I know that what I just said makes it sound like they're not, but I just couldn't get into it, and that's really annoying. And I know that happens sometimes, but it's just like, man, I've heard so many people rave about this, and I was just like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get hyped for this. I'm gonna add this to my list of things that I want to like carry on reading in my own time. Like JoJo's part 2 is probably next for me, and then actually I might read Nichijou next, because I was gonna read that for a review, and then I've decided that I think I'm actually gonna read that one for just me. But point is, I thought, oh, I'll add JJK onto that as well. But I just, like I said, I wasn't finding myself getting, like, attached to the characters. And here's the thing, I am truly a lover of character-run stories. Like, towards the end, I was seeing that there could easily be a really good dynamic forming with Itadori and Kigisaki. But I didn't get to see enough of that to have me needing to see more of it in the way that I did elsewhere. Like something like Akira, the big thing that I was talking about was that, like, I needed to be able to get more invested in the characters, but I want to read more Akira. I am still invested in the plot. Just wasn't finding myself doing that with JJK, and I'm sure with more time I would be able to get that affection for them. I mean, you know, Itadori is a bit of like a lovable dumb boy from what I'm gathering. And, you know, if Denji is anything to go by, then that's an easy way to make me love a lead. You know, he gets himself cursed low-key on a whim and in a grade A Grimm kind of way. And that was fun. I like that. He's got a heart of gold by the looks of things, and I can see it becoming an increasing Jekyll and Hyde type vibe. And I really liked the scene where it's, not Nanami, he's not in this one, but the other one that everyone goes nuts over. Gojo, sorry. I don't know, I think of JJK and I think of those two because they're the ones that everyone's like thirsting over. But there's the scene where he's basically like, you can die now or later when you've eaten all the curse fingers. Brilliant. That's a really weird phrase out of context, but I thought that scene was really fun. Like I said, I did have fun with it. Sometimes I talk about the fact that, like, not every book has to be my favourite, but I think I really wanted this to be, and that's why I'm sat here just like, everything worked. Why aren't I more into it? And, like, Kigisaki seems like she will be interesting as time goes on. By the looks of things, she's like, I think she wants a normal life, but she doesn't really have that choice. Plus, I do love her, like, some of the design stuff with her. Like, she's got the little hammer with the heart, and, like, she's all sparky and assertive. Sparky and assertive. And her fight technique is really cool. I did really like that. But just, like, ugh! The book was fun! I liked it! And I really wanted to love it, because I know so many people who do love it so dearly. And, like, no, not everything is meant for me, and not everything will be a favourite. But, like, maybe I'll give the anime a go. I guess that might be easier to, like, vibe with for me. I don't know. Like, especially because the visuals are genuinely really fucking cool. Like, the action scenes are really dynamic, and there's a lot of heart behind them, either emotionally or literally in the Hammer's case. There's also a lot of really fun design choices to show emotions, like people getting stretched or simplified in really silly little ways. It's very charming. I love that kind of stuff. Simplification of a character to express emotions is one of my favorite things, or like going hard the opposite way and suddenly they look like way too realistic. I love it. Momose does that in Romantic Killer a lot, and is one of my favorite aspects from that series. I mean, very different energies, but my point is that kind of design feature is always something that's going to pop me. And if nothing else, the creature design is so delightful. I will always love some bucked up beast design work, and Akutami has that down to a T. Every single beast in here is visually so interesting. I wish we had a little more understanding of some of the creatures, but maybe that's something that could come in the future, or it could be a case of like there isn't really a method behind these beasts. Maybe there is like something above them, like I can't remember the name of it, but the beast that he's eating all the fingers of, well, that's the plan. Like maybe it is just a case of like these are curses that need to be dealt with. But I do like the fact that there are clearly like different modes of operation with them. Like there's one I'm not 100% sure about. Okay, so like when, oh my god, why can't I remember her name? Kugisaki, we see her fight for the first time. She enters a room full of mannequins and she like spots one, and that's when we first see her like basically launch nails at it with her hammer. It's so cool. That was really cool. It like mimicked itself as a mannequin, but I'm not 100% sure if that is the case, because that might have been her misreading the situation, as there was a big ugly bugly hidden in the room after she already did that. So I'm not 100% sure if that was a mimic or if I misread it and it's actually saying that like no, the second beast is actually what she was detecting in there. But the idea of mimics is always really interesting when used well, so I do wonder if they show up again later down the line. Oh, look, sorry this is a super short review. You know me, I do love a ramble, but I just don't have a huge amount to say about this, and other than the fact that I wish I was bought in more, but I just couldn't vibe with it. I was like, this is fun, this is fine, but I was just like, a few of my notes were saying, I'm enjoying this, I'm just not clicking. It's just not clicking with me. Like I opened with though, I don't hate it, and I certainly do not think it is bad. I think it's really good, everything works, it's just not for me. Maybe I'll come back to the series in the future and see if going in a little further could help, and that's the same as maybe, you know, trying the anime out, because I've heard plenty of good things about that as well. I mean, I had fun, but just I wouldn't expect to see it on my favourites list anytime soon. I have been rammed with appointments recently, but I swear to God I will get that damn Bad Red Book Club done soon. To be honest, we're lucky I got this out on time, but I'm nothing if not dedicated. But let me know what about JJK kept you interested if you read, if not all of it, then further down. Maybe hearing from other people will help me get into it further. Also, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, feel free to ring the notification bell and all that other cringe shit I'm supposed to ask you to do in my videos. But most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take good care of yourself. Right.